y'all. So I wasn't going to record today. First, because I'm stuffy. I'm so stuffed up. I am a cat mom and I am allergic to my own cats, which is ridiculous. But I love them too much to give them up just because I sneeze. And I accidentally killed my vacuum by stupidly cleaning out my air conditioner and not emptying out the whatever it's called, trap. It's not a bag. So it overheated and fried. So since it's too cold to open up the windows, I am so stuffed. And then second, I woke up in the middle of the night last night and I was looking at my cat snuggling at the end of my bed, and I was looking around my room, and it was like the feeling of just appreciation sunk into my bones. Like, instead of, for the first time, feeling stressed about how I'm going to pay my bills and I don't have a job, I really just looked around and I was so grateful. And I just felt it. I felt so grateful that I had a nice house, that I have a cute room, that my 2 kids are doing great, and that everybody's healthy and we have good food to eat, and like, I really just felt the happiness. And because of that, I felt like, wow, I don't really have anything to talk about. Everything I've talked about, sometimes people are like, oh, are you angry? I think somebody said, are you under the influence of something? No, I'm up late because I have bedtime procrastination, because it's like I finally get to like quiet my mind and actually think for myself after my kids go to sleep. And I just get to sit and think. And the more I think, the more I become like completely resonant or passionate about an idea. And I just start to record immediately. I'm not overthinking something. I just think, oh, this is really important. I need to tell somebody about this. Like, how can I help other people? How can I give a message that means something? I don't want to just turn on the video camera and feel like mouth garbage, like I'm venting out my life. Like, I want to tell people things that can help benefit them. So that's why I record. In the beginning, it was really just to get past being exposed and vulnerable and putting myself on camera. And honestly, it didn't take very long for me to get over that. And I feel really proud of myself for doing that. And I realized that I'm getting a lot of views, and I honestly never, ever expected that. I thought, well, this is just for me. Nobody's going to look at this thing. And now that I realize that people are looking, maybe it's because I have something to say and something I can share and help other people with. And, you know, I've gone through enough experiences that maybe I do have something that I can share with other people. And I'm not trying to sell a fucking course, right? Everybody's trying to sell you something. Everybody's trying to get you to buy something or watch their ads or help them become monetized, and they want viewers, and they're just filming a video so they can get social media traction. And honestly, I do not give a flying fuck about that. I don't want your money. I don't even really want the attention. I just think if it's going to be attention that I'm given, then maybe I can do something beneficial with it. So since I'm feeling still really pleased and just grateful for my life, I was able to reflect on things that weren't stressful and weren't things that made me upset, and things that made me happy. And there's a question I was asked 10 years ago. It was right after my first daughter was born. She was probably about a year old. And somebody asked me, if you didn't identify yourself as a mother and you didn't identify yourself by your job, who are you? And honestly, at the time, it really made me cry, because I realized that I didn't do anything or have anything that made me me. I mean, being a mother is so important, and of course your career is important, but Who was I as an individual? And over that course of time, I was in relationships, and I dedicated myself towards helping them and helping their career and giving them confidence. And I don't have that anymore. Obviously, I helped them enough to go on and live their lives. So I started refocusing on myself. And the first thing I did is I saw this video, and this girl said, sit down and write 100 goals for yourself. And my kids were at school, I was home, and I didn't have any interviews or anything that day. So I sat down and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so hard to write down 100 goals. And when I passed 30 goals, it started getting so much easier. And I started remembering who I was all those years ago and all the things that I wanted for myself. And it just, pen to paper, I just started remembering everything. And honestly, I had to stop at 100. I was really shocked that there were so many things just deep down, hidden in the back of my brain that I'd forgotten about, that I wanted for myself in my life and the things that I was good at. So one of the focuses I did was to start trying to be the person that I had forgotten about. I mean, I'm still an individual human being. I shouldn't just be defined as a mother or whatever my career is. So a couple of things that I started doing was I started reading again, and I loved to read. I grew up reading. I was a homeschooled kid. That's all I did. I read everything I could get my hands on. But a couple of books that I've read in the past year that I felt like made the biggest difference, especially in how I thought about the world and how I thought about myself and what I was going to do, and was I going to have the confidence to do it? Was I going to have the courage to do it? And are other people going to accept that? I was overthinking it way too much. And I didn't know that until I read this book. And honestly, my mom gave it to me, and you can tell what kind of mother I have that she would give me this book, but she knows me pretty well, I guess. And it's The Game of Life and How to Play It. And I still have a bookmark in the middle of it. And I stopped in the middle. Honestly, I need to finish reading the book, but it was like something clicked in my brain. Like, whether it makes sense to anybody else or not, I was like, this is a video game. Like, this life is just a video game. In a video game, you have challenges and levels. And when you're playing the game, it feels safe. Like, you can die and you can start the level over again, right? It's just a way that people de-stress, but you don't think about how it actually applies to life. Like, if you need food, you don't sit in your house and cry about how you don't have food. You go to the grocery store to get food. You're completing the challenge. And if you need to work out, you go to the gym or you go for a run. But you're putting yourself in the place and with other people in the same mindset as you, where you're all achieving the same goal. And I realized everything is like that. And I don't know in my city where to go socialize to meet other people that think like me. So I thought, what the hell? Let's go to the internet. Like, you can find other people that think like you, that have the same drive as you, that have the same problems that you do, and you can work together. And that's how you complete the challenge, is by breaking outside of your box. So that one was a really important book for me, and honestly changed how I was thinking. And I was making everything way too complicated for what it needed to be. If you want to build a business, go out and find the clients. Put yourself in the place, in the position to make those things happen. Don't sit in your home and expect them to come to you. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. And if you teach a man to fish, he eats for the rest of his life, right? It's a euphemism, but it still applies. So if you want to become a great writer, figure out where all the other writers go. Go to the coffee shops and sit there and write, and somebody else is going to be just like you, and you're going to run into them. You need to present yourself to the opportunity instead of hoping that the opportunity comes to you. Another book, and I have read this so many times, I had to buy a new copy because I had lost it at one point from moving, and I had an apartment fire years ago. But something that just, it's this book. And it's a great book, and it's The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And it teaches you to have control over your emotions. Don't be that lady yelling at the barista because she got your coffee order wrong. Be the person that can control yourself. And that speaks volumes. Like the person that walks into the room and they don't speak often. They sit there and they listen. And when they do have something to say, people lean in. It's because they're in control of their emotions. And you trust that person, because if they can't have control over themselves, you would never trust them to have control over you. And it's a very old book. I mean, not super old, but I mean, we're in 2025 now, so it's considered old. But it is a great book, and the author wasn't lying when it says it's a book that changes lives, because it changes how you think about yourself. And if you don't like the programming, do a new system update. Like, you don't have to stay the same. You don't have to keep identifying with past trauma and make that define you. If you're not happy with who you are, write down the reasons why you're not happy, and for each reason, write down 5 things you can do to change it. No one has to be stuck. We all have options. The internet's free. Talking to people is free. Going outside and looking at the sky and absorbing the sunlight is free. And there's so many things that people can do just to make a difference in their own day. Just walk outside. Walk outside in nature. Hear the birds chirp. It'll immediately make your day so much better. Learn to smell the coffee instead of just rushing through the day. And I think that's a big book that's why I read it so many times. And I think one of the other books that I've read the most times, I mean, I've just read it over and over again. And no, it's not the Bible. It's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I feel like every single time I read that book that I find something new, and it teaches me to think differently about money, because a lot of people think, oh, I'd love to be wealthy, but we never think about how uncomfortable we're going to be with that amount of money that we've never had before. And that amount of discomfort can actually keep you confined and keep you from wanting to have that, because it's something your body's never experienced. Your nervous system will actually like freak out and stress out when you have too much money. I mean, isn't that insane? For people that don't have enough money, that feeling that you get where you're like, oh my God, I'm broke. How am I going to pay my bills? That stress response. You can get the same thing from having too much money. And I never realized that was a thing. Like, that was a completely new eye-opening thing for me, where I had to really do a lot of deep work in why I'm not comfortable, or I don't know, I guess we'll see, in having too much money. Like, for some people, $2,000 in your savings account is too much money. What are you going to do with that? People might call me. They might ask for it. I don't want to spend my money on this because, you know, what if I lose that money? Then am I going to be able to resell this? And they just start stressing out. And so it's a completely different mindset you have to have in order to have your body be accepting to have that money, to know that you deserve it. Anyway, just something separate to think about. But I just want to talk about also a couple of the things that I started doing that made me feel like a person again, not just trying to make money or take care of my kids or get a job, not doing glow ups and painting my nails and all of this other stuff, because that's doesn't feed the soul, right? Like, you need creativity to feed the soul. And like, what you really love is something that nourishes you and it makes you feel happy. And so one thing I started doing was I started drawing again, especially after seeing all the things that my 6-year-old is drawing. She's been so artistic. I mean, just like pours out of her. She'll collect pieces of trash just to make a piece of artwork, and she'll make it beautiful. Like, there was a piece of cardboard that came around a toy that she got for Christmas, and she didn't even really care about the toy. She cared about this piece of cardboard, and she immediately started drawing. And keep in mind, she's 6. She just turned 6. And this is what she turned that piece of cardboard into, so it can fold around my potted plant. And you may say that, oh, that's nothing really for a 6-year-old. Like, you made a sunset and a succulent, but it's watching her grow in her artistry and the detail that she can put into things that really made me feel astonished. Like, she made this after she went on a trip with her father to Mexico, and it's a play on the Mexican flag. And it's just so cool, and it's on an envelope. And because it was the only piece of paper we had at the moment, so she found an envelope and she drew on this, and I was like, that is so cool. That is really so cool. It's going on the fridge. Like, just watching the things that she does. And she made this for her teacher for Christmas, and her teacher said she didn't want any artwork. She only wanted to purchase things. So her teacher sent it back, and I didn't have the heart to tell her. And honestly, I love this thing so much that I wanted to keep it for myself. But she drew this, and it's the Queen of Hearts behind a wall, leaning out, grabbing a rose. Like, it's just so intricate to me. And maybe it's just because I'm her mom, right? Like, that I think this stuff is so cool. Or while I was cooking dinner, she painted me an art piece, and she was telling me how to blend to make the color brown, and she made an eye. But she said the eye is reflective of the rainbow. It sees all of the colors, and so you see everything reflected back into the eye. I mean, and then I was thinking about where she got it from, and just like maybe 6 months ago, I had started drawing, and then I got busy and I was trying to figure out how to pay my bills, and I forgot about it. But she went in my closet and she was like, oh, Mommy, you draw too. And I had completely forgotten. I just drew these things, and I used to do a lot of work with chalk and painting and things like that, but it was like a high school thing. And she pulled these out, and I forgot that I had started to sketch my kid, right? Like, I'd just totally forgotten that I did that and that I loved drawing. And one day we did self-portraits, and the girls each did their own. My 10-year-old did herself in model clay, and my 6-year-old did a painting, and I sketched myself. Like, this is probably just a really terrible way to show you whatsoever, but I did look kind of like that then. I was blonder, shorter hair. But I had forgotten about all these things, and you really have to start giving back to yourself, like figuring out what feeds your soul. What feeds my soul is being artistic. I love anything that has to do with art. I love doing anything that makes me smarter. I love reading. I love, putting together cool clothes. I love decorating. I love, anything talking about physical manifestation and quantum mechanics. And, sorry, my phone was glitchy for a second. And photography and singing. I have a different channel where, I had an ex who, phenomenal artist. I mean, just the best guitar player I've ever seen. And he had his own channel of music, and after we broke up, I thought, you know, he made his own music, and I used to help him with that, and I missed it so much, and I thought, I can make my own music. I will figure out a way to do it. And I did, and I felt really proud of myself, and some of my songs have done really well, but I think for a lot of us, we're so hyper-focused on being a mom and being great in our careers, and that's so great. That is what we focus on. That is our lives. Like, that makes up who we are. But we also have to not forget that we were somebody else before then, and we've got to feed our inner child, essentially. And that's what gives us peace. And also it gives you a connection to your kids, and it gives them something to be excited about. I mean, my daughter is my biggest promoter of my music channel, and the only reason I have the number of subscribers I do on there is because of her, because of every single person she meets. In every family gathering we have, she's playing my music and she's saying, subscribe to Mom's channel. She's really good. You need to subscribe to her channel. And, you know, they are my little cheerleaders, and I just try to find more things that I can do that I love where they can feel proud of me. So I guess the moral of the story is, do something that really makes you happy. Do the thing that you dreamt about when you were 6 or 10 or 15, and just bring a little bit of joy back to your life. And when you're happy, your kids are happy, your home is peaceful, and you just have a better outlook on life, and that's when all the other things just come to you. You don't have to go to the opportunities. They find you when you do what you love and when you love yourself. So I hope everyone has a great night, and I hope you're still having a great start to your new year.